Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. This is Property Management 101, and for today's video, we're going to be discussing daily routine tips that every property manager should do. This video will be the first in a two-part series regarding this topic. This video is going to be all geared towards property managers that work on the single-family management side of the industry. If you're curious about daily routine tips for the multifamily side of the industry, I've released two videos on this topic, and I'll post those links in the video description, as well as you can click on the link at the end of the video and the top right corner of the page now. On the single-family side of the industry, property managers must have a more flexible daily routine than on the multifamily side of the industry. There's lots of reasons why for this, but here's some of the different dynamics you're going to see on the single-family side compared to property managers that work on the multifamily side. The multifamily side, most property managers work in a clubhouse or a leasing office with on-site with other team members for that particular property, while on the single-family side of the industry, most property managers work remotely. They don't work in an office every day in and day out. They have to factor in a lot more travel time and a lot more flexible time as owners and situations come up at different properties that they have to allocate additional time just from a travel perspective. Due to this concept of the travel and not working in the same office every day with a team that can support you around you every day where you have that face-to-face interaction, some of the tips I'm going to be sharing are going to be much more streamlined and also much more simple compared to the multifamily side of the industry. If you're a property manager managing homes on the single family side of the industry, here are 7 tips that you should incorporate as part of your daily routine in this particular order. The first tip that I'll talk about that you should incorporate every day, that you should perform first thing you do when you start your day, is you want to inspect and check your calendar. What's on your schedule that day? Are you ready for all your scheduled meetings? Is there anything that you didn't accomplish the day prior that you need to block off some time that day or in future days on your calendar? Is there anything that came up after hours? Maybe you received a call in the middle of the night and you want to make sure that you follow up on a particular situation that's urgent at that time. So it may be wise to block off some time during that day and maybe future days for that situation that came up after hours as well. Once you've had time to review your calendar and add or delete or move any scheduled appointments or blocked off any time, the next thing you want to do each day is plan your day. This seems very basic, but in the property management world for single-family homes, you need to be more flexible because of the items I mentioned before. So each day, your schedule may shift slightly as things may come up, or maybe there's an accident on the way to a particular property that you'll be driving to or construction. So your day needs to be a little bit more flexible. So as you plan for each day, you may not be able to plan for those days well in advance. So some of the things you want to plan for and consider when you're planning your day. Is there any particular projects you're working on that you want to allot time for? Are you ready for all your scheduled meetings that particular day? Have you scheduled time that day to visit any vacant units you currently have? Have you allocated enough time for traveling? Are you planning on stopping by the office at any point in the day? Do you have any planned owner visits that particular day? And from a business development standpoint, are you looking or meeting with any potential owners that you are looking to possibly bring on and manage their assets on their behalf? If you're enjoying this video and you're learning something new, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for future videos. And the third daily routine tip that I would highly recommend that all single-family property managers make in their day is make time and allot time to work on your administrative items. Some of the things on the single-family side that you would want to focus on as far as allotting time for, as far as part of your admin items, are as follows. You want to inspect, create, and review any pending owner statements that you need to send out, or maybe right before you're sending them out, just to spot check for accuracy. You want to review your payables. Is there any vendors that have an outstanding invoice that you received on any work that was done in any of the properties that you manage? Have you followed up with any past due accounts? Are there any residents that have a balance that's owed that you need to follow up with? Maybe you have to follow up with your team that manages that process, or maybe you need to follow up with that directly. Also, you want to follow up with any potential new owners or potential owners. So a lot of times when you're bringing on a new owner, there's going to be some onboarding processes and practice that may be part of your best practices that you incorporate when bringing on new owners. Also, there's probably a lot of interaction and back and forth with any potential owners you're working with. So you always want to make sure you're allotting time for these admin items. And the fourth daily practice that you want to make sure you're allotting time for as a property manager on the single family side of the industry is you want to allot some time to review and follow up with your email. Now, I know this sounds like a basic one, everyone, but one mistake I often see that property managers make too often is they start by reviewing their emails first thing when they walk in the office each day. I'm a big believer that if you start working off your emails, then you're starting your day working off and responding to things that others are asking for, rather things that you know that you need to do when it comes to the time that you need to allot for that particular day. So it's really important that you do allot time to respond back to emails, but also you want to make sure that you have your day planned. You want to make sure you're checking your calendar for any scheduled appointments, reallocating time if needed. You also want to make sure you complete any admin items that you had scheduled for. So this is going to be really important that you do follow up with emails, but I wouldn't prioritize it over the items that I mentioned prior. If you think about it from this perspective, if someone's sending you an email, there's not a dire emergency email out there, right? They'd be calling, visiting your office if something was that pressing they couldn't wait for an email response. So that's why I think you should treat emails as such. You should treat them as non-emergencies that you have time to get back to. Now, when you're reviewing your emails, look for things like, hey, do I need to follow up with anyone? Do I need to send out any owner statement? Do I need to address any owner's concerns? Are there any residents that need followed up with? Do I need to send anything to residents like violations, as well as maybe any past due balances? Is there any general emails? Is there any move-out packets I need to send out? Is there any move-in packets I need to send out for any potential future move-ins? So these are all things that you should incorporate as part of your process when you follow up with your emails. And for a video recap today, keep in mind these 4 daily routine tips that you should be performing in this order to really maximize your day when it comes to a property manager that works in the single family side of the industry. Number 1, you want to check your calendar each morning as soon as you walk in that office. What do you have on your agenda that day? Do you need to allot some time for some things that have came up? Do you need to maybe reallocate some time and block off some time to things the prior day that you did not get to? So it's really important that you start your day as far as reviewing what's on your agenda that day. Number 2, you want to plan your day. So once you've had the opportunity to review what's on your agenda, do you need to make any changes? Do you need to allot some time for things like travel time or stopping by the office? So it's really a good habit to get into this practice after you review your calendar to see what's on your agenda already, then to start planning your day from there. The next thing I'd always perform is your administrative items. So when you're performing your admin items, what kind of things do you need to address on a daily basis to stay caught up? Do you have to send out any move-out statements? Do you need to send and review any owner statements? Do you need to send out any move-in packets or move-out packets to any potential or current or future residents? Is there any pending applications that you need to review as the property manager? So there's definitely some time that you want to allot every single day when it comes to admin items. And number 4, you want to allot some time to review and get back to any emails currently in your inbox. This is going to be a really important step to perform after some of the things I already mentioned. What you don't want to do is perform this first thing when you get in. I've often seen the mistake where property managers will start working on their emails before anything else. Then 2-3 hours into the day, they're still working on emails, not accomplishing anything other than getting back to people quickly. I always think it's a really good habit to allot some time, maybe mid-morning, to get back to individuals that have emailed you, but you don't want to prioritize it over other things that you may have already had on your schedule. And check back with us for part 2 on this subject of 7 daily routine tips for property managers that work in the single family side of the industry. If you enjoyed this video and you learned something new, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for future videos. Before putting any of these practices into place, please watch our updated disclosure video as well as our updated why we do this video, which is the channel's why. And I'll be providing a link to both of those in the video description. And to stay on top of industry news, polls, and video releases, please feel free to connect with our LinkedIn and our Instagram page. If you have any questions about this video or any of our videos, feel free to leave a comment. I'll be happy to address it for you. Happy leasing!